Throughout the ages, history has been altered by word of mouth and the misrepresentation of those who might not have been present when some of the world's most significant events took place. Channelers Barry and Connie Strohm bring through the spirits of those who actually witnessed or took part in these historical events and lets them tell their stories in their own words. Welcome to Channeling History, and now, here are your hosts, Barry and Connie Strohm.
Channeling History, the only show where we can speak to the souls and make things happen. And we're brought to you on the Para X Radio Network. I am Barry Strohm.
And I'm your co-host, Connie Strohm. And we'd like to thank you all for your patience in tuning into our first show.
Yes, apparently things are not going to go exactly the way we wanted to, and since we've used up a lot of our time, our plan tonight was to talk to our spirit guide Laura, to channel her and to ask her some questions about what is happening. So, since we're running so late, why don't we attempt to channel with Laura and see what she has to say? Before we ever do any channeling, we always start with a prayer. So I'm going to ask Connie to say that prayer and hope it really works tonight, because we certainly need it the way things got to a start.
Okay, God, please grant us your wisdom and protection. Grant us the knowledge that we can handle and keep us safe from all things that will harm us. Keep the messages positive and pure love. Keep us safe from our own ego. We ask these things in light of the seen, the unseen, and the honesty of God. Amen.
Okay, with that, we're going to try to make a connection with Laura. And Connie, if you would see what's happening with our spirit guide tonight.
Okay. Laura, would you like to begin with a message for our listeners?
Yes. I'm sorry things got off to such a rocky start for you. We've been waiting to bring you a message. Spirit guides are on the other side to help all individuals. We are a type of Holy Spirit. Some of us have led incarnate lives, and some of us have simply been guides since the beginning of time. My name is Laura, and I am a master guide for Barry and Connie. I come from one of the highest levels to assist them with their messages and their words. Tonight, I'm going to try to answer questions from those of you that try to post them, and Connie will read those questions. We are here only to help souls as they go through their incarnate lives. Many of us are never heeded. Many people have learned to communicate with their guides and have followed their advice and have succeeded in many ways. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let Barry carry on with the show, and we will be attempting to answer the questions as they come to you. Well, I'm going to attempt to take a break and see how all that goes. Well, nothing seems to be working tonight, because now all the information that we were going to do for our commercial sides doesn't seem to want to play for me for some reason. So anyway.
Okay, well, we have our first question.
Well, then why don't we just move on to a question, and we'll do this whole thing without a break.
Laura, Kat would like to know if you have any information for her about her two missing cats.
Cat, your two cats have chosen to run off and have gotten themselves in trouble. They do not know how to find their way home. I would suggest that you go to an area near you that has a creek, because they have been trying to hang there in order to get water and food. Go there tomorrow and see if you can find them.
Okay, Laura, would you explain to our listeners exactly what is a spirit guide?
Spirit guides are energies on the other side. They can be souls that have lived many times and have gained much knowledge and experience and have been assessed to be able to help others. As I said in my message, it is possible that soul energies have never lived incarnate lives, but have devoted themselves to helping others throughout time. Everyone has spirit guides. They are available to help you. Their main role is to assist you in following the life plans that have been laid out for you.
Okay, do spirit guides have access to your past and your future?
Yes. When we are on this side, it is possible for us to understand what you learned in your past life and to look ahead and know what is necessary for you to understand in your future life. It is possible that we may need to plan multiple lives in advance for you in order for your soul to learn the lessons that need to be learned.
Yeah. How many spirit guides does an individual have?
Individuals will usually have one or two of their main guides, but as situations change, it may be necessary to call on other guides. Those guides can offer information that your master guide may not have available. Keep in mind that there is no one guide that has access to all information.
Okay. How do spirit guides communicate with humans?
We can communicate with you in many different ways. Mainly, individuals will have dreams, and we will attempt to get messages to them through those dreams. It is also possible that individuals can learn to directly communicate through meditation. Some individuals, such as Barry, is able to speak the words of the guides. So there are many, many ways. If you're trying to learn to communicate, perhaps the best way is to do it through meditation. Many people find it difficult to meditate, but quite often, as you approach falling asleep, you will receive messages. If an individual can hold that pre-sleep state, it is possible that they can do a better job of communicating.
Okay, Patty would like to know, how does someone who has never tried to channel their guides before go about learning how to channel them?
It can be a very difficult process to learn the art of channeling. You are best to attempt to communicate through meditation. If you can clear your mind, it is probably the easiest way to attempt to communicate.
Okay, and that is something that I have trouble with, clearing my mind. Okay, how do spirit guides differ from angels?
Angels are an entirely different type of holy energy. Angels have never lived incarnate lives. Angels have always served the highest levels of heaven and have different roles. For instance, the Archangel Michael is a protector and watches over and protects all souls. But sometimes guides and angels do work together. It may be possible that a human has strayed from a life plan and needs assistance beyond the capabilities of the guides. Angels have the ability to appear sometimes as different human forms, and sometimes have the ability to communicate with the soul in a manner not available to a guide. So angels are very important, and guides work with them at all times.
Okay. How can you be sure that a message is really from your guide?
Sometimes that is very difficult because there are evil energies that can attempt to give you messages that are not for your personal good. The guide will try to give you only positive advice. If you're getting advice that seems to lead towards an evil path, then that would never be a message from your spirit guide. Guides will only give you positive advice. They will never try to mislead you, and they will never try to lead you astray. Always remember that there is evil, and that those evil energies are capable of giving you false messages. So if you're receiving a message that would do harm to others, you can rest assured that the information is not from your guide.
Okay, Marla is asking, is there a difference between channeling your guides and just speaking to them and hearing them respond?
Yes. What Barry is currently doing is channeling with a spirit guide. He is speaking the words of the guide. It is possible that you will receive a message from your guide and not even be aware that you've received it. Sometimes it is just that you have a feeling to do something. So there is much difference. Channeling is something that most people would never be able to do or be able to communicate in that manner. Just know that the guide has many different ways in which they can influence the actions of an individual. And it is not always an awareness that you have made a communication.
Yeah. Is there a hierarchy among spirit guides?
Yes, there is definitely a hierarchy. Guides have to earn their position, just the same as human souls have to earn their position through the realms of heaven. Guides have served God in many ways and are rewarded by the status which they are given. There are guides assigned to individuals in the lower realms of heaven that have not advanced to the status that I or the other guides that you channel have obtained.
Would a spirit guide ever make the decision to reincarnate?
Yes. It is often that high-ranking spirit guides are sent back to participate in a mission of special interest to God. Many of you have participated as guides on the other side. When Barry and Connie are on the other side, they help to guide others. They have been sent back to bring communication from spiritual beings to humans who are not able to communicate on their own.
Yeah. Have any returned master guides ever failed in their mission?
Yes. When a master guide returns to an incarnate life, he has no memory or understanding of his status on the other side. As any other soul, he is given free will and ego. We have had master guides return and have succumbed to greed and ego and have utterly failed in their mission. When they return, they are judged and they are reassigned to lower levels or realms and are stripped of their ability to guide others until they totally understand how they have failed and what they need to do to re-advance to a more esteemed status.
Yeah. Okay. Linda would like to know if she is going to be a healer like her paternal grandfather was.
It is possible that Linda will be given the gift of healing if she manages to achieve a higher level of understanding and communication. The gift of healing is a reward for high-level service.
Okay. Laura, what role do spirit guides play in creating a person's or a soul's life plan?
Before any soul is permitted to return, they are given a life plan that is designed to achieve the learning and experience goals that the soul needs to advance. Guides work together with the soul to provide a life plan that will fulfill the needs of that soul.
Okay, Vicki asked, how do you define a healer?
A healer is one that can direct the healing energies of God. Keep in mind that no individual can heal without the ability to direct those healing energies. It is how the human learns and advances in his role as an incarnate life that determines if it can achieve the level where it has the ability to direct the healing energies of God.
Okay, when a soul returns, can it decide that it wants to be a spirit guide?
It all depends on how the soul has lived its incarnate life, how it has performed in its other lifetimes when on the other side. A soul can ask its master guide if it can be assigned a role while on the other side to help others. So it is possible that a soul can attempt to guide others in lower levels of heaven. A soul can never make the decision on its own to become a spirit guide.
Okay. What role do the spirit guides play in creating your next life plan?
You just asked that question.
I did. I'm sorry, I'm not used to going back and forth between two screens. You'll have to forgive me all. Okay, Billy wants to know, with all the craziness going on in the world, is that a sign for humanity to get its act together?
There have been past times where cruelty and harshness has been much worse than it is in your current times. However, there has never been a time that humans have had the ability, through weapons of mass destruction, to obliviate human advancement and even life on your planet. As things get worse and evil becomes more apparent. We hope on this side that humans understand that it is a time where they need to take action and revive love for one another, revive helping one another, and reach an understanding that when the soul returns to the realms, that all souls are equal, regardless of color, regardless of nationality, regardless of their beliefs. Those that attempt to help others will have a great effect on how humans evolve in the future. It is a time where people need to come together and understand that evil is growing and that there will be a time where its growth will have a detrimental effect on human evolution. So yes, it is a time where humans are approaching a point of judgment, and how they react will certainly affect their future evolution.
Okay, looks like that might be it for now with questions. Perhaps Barry would like to explain to you what's going to be happening in the future on our show.
Well, hopefully in the future we can figure out how to solve all our technical problems. I don't know what happened this week, but you can rest assured that we will be attempting to find out. If everything goes well next week, we're planning on channeling with President John Kennedy. We've channeled with him many times in the past, and in fact, I dedicated an entire chapter to him in my book, Spirits Speak, of Conspiracies and Mysteries. As you know, there are many conspiracies about how he was killed. Next week, I am sure that he will be willing to answer the questions truthfully and tell you what really happened on the day that he was killed, and the background as to why that he was killed. In the future, we're going to be planning to do many special things. For instance, on Halloween, we're going to be doing a special show, and we're going to be co-hosting with our friend Marla Brooks, and we're going to be channeling with individuals that were burned during the Salem witch trials. In April, on the anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic, we're planning to try to channel with the captain of the Titanic and try to find out what really happened. In addition, we're going to try to be talking with some of the passengers that were on the ship and try to get an understanding of what really took place on that day. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to bring you some very, very interesting shows in the future. I know that we're going to be speaking with John Lennon. We're going to be doing shows with Elvis Presley. And we're going to be doing shows with many other famous people. There will also be times that we're going to be channeling with the archangels. I would invite you to check out our YouTube channel. We have the channel is in my name, Barry Strohm. Just put it into search and it'll turn up. We've got over 100 videos posted. Many of them are interviews with famous people. And we hope that you'll be able to check some of that out. And please, while you're there, would you be so kind as to subscribe to the channel, because it helps with the search mechanisms if you have a bunch of subscribers. We have multiple websites, one of which is spiritspredict.com, and the other is wordsofgodthenandnow.com. We have a Facebook page called Words of God Then and Now. It's a private group, but you can join the group. We have a bunch of wonderful people in that brings a lot of support for individuals with problems or sicknesses. It's a great discussion group. It's private, so you can feel free to speak or to post your ideas and thoughts and be free of any criticism in the group. We are hoping that we are going to be able to continue to bring you the information that you're looking for. My books, we're going to have a new book out in November. It's going to be called Spirit Speak, Channeling Jesus and the Holy Spirits. It is the second of a 3-volume series. The first book, which has been out for about a year, it was Spirit Speak, Channeling the Life of Jesus. The new book is going to be very interesting. We start with a chapter with Moses. We channel with many of the historical figures, John the Baptist. We wind up with a chapter devoted to Mother Teresa, and a chapter with Reverend Billy Graham. So we have a lot of things going on. We're hoping that we can bring you a lot of interesting spirit guests, and we are certainly sorry tonight that we have had so many problems, but we will be working to solve those in the upcoming week, and with a little bit of luck, next week everything will go much better.
And we would also welcome anybody to let us know if there is a spirit that you would like us to chat with. We're open to your suggestions.
Yes, we've started a special email for where you can submit suggestions and questions. The email is channelinghistoryonparax@gmail.com. So please submit your suggestions. We're going to be doing a show every week, so we might not be getting to you the spirit that you'd like to talk to as soon as possible, but we will try to cover all of the things that you would like to see. So, at this point, ordinarily I would be playing the close to the show, and we would be preparing to say goodbye, but I can't seem to make anything work. So, we are going to just say good night. Thank you for tuning in, and I promise that we will be working on our problems, and that by next week we should have it all work. So thank you for listening to our show tonight. Hopefully things will go much better in the future, and you will find that we will be bringing you honest messages. Everything that we do is words that we receive. We are simply messengers of the spirits on the other side, and hopefully we will bring a listening audience who will better understand what is taking place on the other side. So with that, we're going to say good night. God bless, and we'll see you next week.
Looking forward to next week.
Thanks for listening to Channeling History. Tune in again next week for another electrifying episode, as we never know who will make an appearance or who will come through the portal. Any rebroadcast or other use of this program without explicit permission is strictly prohibited. Copyright 2020. Our Story Begins by Kevin MacLeod, licensed through Incompetech.com.